So, hi guys.
Hello.
We are Cinema Suitcase, Logan and Kevin, and today we're going to be giving you another episode. This time we're doing Robocop.
Oh, a 1980s classic. I don't know why I was surprised. I knew that,
Yeah.
but I think everyone is hyped. You know what? I invoked the audience reaction. I was like, oh.
Yeah, because you really wanted to watch this movie.
I did. I told you we had to get through Akira and Ghost in the Shell. So Akira, we jumbled around a bit, but it's fine. At least we watched it.
Well, we will get to Akira eventually, but
Eventually.
yeah. So let's quickly just do some quick stats. So, Robocop was directed by Paul Verhoeven, who's a fantastic director. He directed movies like Basic Instincts, which is very good. Also, Starship Troopers, the first one.
Starship Troopers. Sorry to cut you off. Reminds me, we have to do an episode on Ender's Game.
I've never seen Ender's Game.
Ender's Game is a brilliant film. Okay, sorry. Anyway,
written by Edward Newmere and Michael Miner. I'm very sorry if I'm butchering those names. Original music by Basil Poldoris. I think that's it. The music in this movie is legendary. Especially
actually it is.
Especially the main Robocop theme. The main Robocop theme is great. Cinematography officially by Jost Vacano. However, there is another credit for Sol Negron, which is uncredited. So an uncredited credit there. And then editing was by Frank J. Eurista. I don't know. These names are very weird.
They are unusual. Where is Paul Verhoeven from? That doesn't sound like an American name.
No, he's from Europe.
He sounds like a European surname. A European surname.
I don't know the exact country. We'll put a text on the YouTube.
We can add an asterisk. It's fine. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your initial reaction to the movie, since this is the first time you've sat down and fully watched it.
So as I said, a little bit of backstory for me. I watched it 15 or so years ago.
When you were 5.
When I was 5-ish, it was on TV, and it was like the second half of the movie. So I didn't see his origin, and so I didn't really get that invested. It was on, but I was busy with my own thing. I was like 5, leave me alone.
Yeah.
And so as time went by, I always knew about him as a big 80s film legend.
He's an iconic character.
He's very iconic. He's up there with Predator and Terminator and those oaks. He's an 80s action, sweaty chest, muscle bound hero. That's the 80s for you.
Yeah.
And so as the years went on, I never really got into it. I just never really thought about it actually, and I knew a lot of most of what I know about him comes from his history with video games, as I said, with Terminator versus Robocop, or is it
Robocop versus Terminator?
Okay, that game. And then more recently, Mortal Kombat 11. He's in the DLC packs.
Yeah, obviously.
So of course,
I remember you and me had hype because I remember when they released Terminator as a DLC character in Mortal Kombat. You and me were like, "Oh, would it be cool if they added Robocop?"
Yeah, we were geeking out and predicting characters.
And then when the trailer released, I sent it to you and I was like, "We freaking called it!"
We called it, mate. And because the games are sort of nostalgia trips, they're based largely on the films, and so you get a lot of what he is like through the game. So eventually now, for our episode, you sat me down because you wanted to watch Robocop, and last night I really enjoyed the film. I mean, I was quite reserved and quiet because I was tired, but I genuinely paid attention.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of positive aspects about this film. I really enjoyed it. As an 80s classic, over the top explosive action movie. It's awesome.
It is very good.
So that would be my origin of Robocop.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. So my history is goes a bit deeper than that. My dad grew up as a kid in the 80s, and he was obviously really enjoyed Robocop. That was one of the seminal movies of his childhood. Because the thing is, obviously he was a kid, so he couldn't go watch the movie in cinemas, and then he couldn't go watch the movie in cinemas, so when my grandmother went to go shopping the one day, because it was obviously when she came on VHS, she went to go shopping, and when she drove up, and then he came out to obviously help her carrying packets. She pulled out the Robocop VHS and put it against the window. And he's like, yeah, Robocop. Yeah.
How did he know about it? Do you know that? Do you know how he knew about it?
I mean, obviously trailers and like posters and everything like that.
Fair enough, yeah. It would have been big posters.
There would have been a lot of posters and probably like trailers and movies and everything like that. But yeah, that was a pretty good. And then a little funny side story that I'll be pretty quick with. But when Robocop 2 came out, my dad really wanted to go watch it, but he was still underage because it was still a rated R film. So what he did was he bought like a ticket to go watch like a Disney movie or whatever, and then he snuck into Robocop 2 and he sat down and watched it, and then like he was 20 minutes into the movie, and then the one of the movie clerks actually came in with a flashlight and actually said, yeah, you can't watch this movie. He's like, come on, man. I'm 20 minutes in, and then, like, they pulled him out and they went and threw him back into the Disney movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
You know, my dad, speaking of like 80s and sneaking into movies, he used to stay around a drive-in. You know, the drive-in with the cars when you watch a movie like that and you stay in your car. There was some hole in a fence for that like area where the thing was, and he used to take his bike and he would go in there constantly to go watch movies without paying for them, and he was like, it was 10 cents a ticket. I was like, 10 cents? Come on, mate, how stingy are you?
Yeah, now like, you know, or at least the area where I live, it's like 120 something rand for a ticket.
Yeah, dude. Okay, as I said, you go to Ster-Kinekor, right?
No, I mostly go to New Metro. I don't really go to Ster-Kinekor all that much.
Oh, I go to Epic. Not that it matters, but Epic is the closest cinema to me, and I pay Epic Cinemas.
I'm guessing it's a private cinema.
It's a franchise. There's 4 of them in SA.
Oh, okay, like a very small franchise, because I thought it was just Ster-Kinekor and New Metro. But anyway, yeah.
But I pay $50 for a ticket, so I'm shocked at the prices you pay.
But anyway, so we were getting off topic there, but yeah, so I had a bit of a long history of this film. My parents obviously weren't stupid enough to let me watch the first one. They only let me watch Robocop 3 because Robocop 3 was very kid-friendly. Because the problem is, as the movies went on, they wanted to push more and more toys towards kids, so they kept making the movies less and less violent until eventually it was just a straight-up kids movie, which is like really stupid. So I watched Robocop 3 like almost it was part of my, what I mentioned earlier in our intro episode, that playlist of like VHS tapes I used to watch after school. Robocop 3 was one of the movies I used to watch constantly, and I used to think that, oh, this is so great, because when you're a kid you don't care. But then, but I actually had a big fear of this film, because I think of Robocop's origin and just what happens to Murphy and how he becomes Robocop. It always just freaked me out. I grew up like, you know, being scared of this movie for years. I had like vicious nightmares. Like it was really bad. It was a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety for this movie. And then eventually, as I got older, the dreams started to get. I mean, I still sort of have dreams about it, but the dreams started to get a bit less and less frequent and less powerful. And then eventually, this year, when the start of this year in January, when it was my New Year's resolution, I was like, no, you know, sit down. I'm actually gonna watch this movie and be done with it. And then I watched it, really enjoyed it, and then I bought this movie Blu-ray for $1. Okay, no, it wasn't an actual dollar, but I'd buy this for $1. But
some shady street corner vendor.
But yeah, I bought the Blu-ray, and then that basically was my final thing of saying, okay, cool, I'm done. I am done with this now. It is now in part of my movie collection, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, dude, you should. Hey, movie collections are awesome. I wish I had more cash to actually start one. Or continue one. They're really cool. Yeah.
Most of the ones I get are used, but this one was like a premium Blu-ray. I bought this like online premium type thing, but anyway, so we're done with that. We're done with the whole personal life story intro. So
autobiographies.
Autobiographies. So let's start with the plot. So Robocop takes place in the near distant future. They never give an actual date of what exact year this is set in. But obviously, this is the future. It's set in Detroit. It's basically because it's supposed to be like an allegory for like or an analogy for the I can't forget the proper word for it, but it's supposed to be sort of a play on like the Reagan, the President Reagan era, where like they were obsessed with capitalism and everything like that. And it's basically sort of like what would happen if in the future we just continued on that path. America just continued on that path. And there's actually even a South African reference to this movie, which is pretty cool. They reference like Pretoria, and obviously that was back when, you know, the apartheid government was still in control and everything like that. But yeah, no, pretty cool. So yeah, it's set in the future. There's this one big corporation called Omnicorp, the Omnicorp Corporation, and they basically run the cops because they've made a deal with the city to basically fund and run the police for them.
Exactly. So they indirectly gain control.
And the police officers want to go on strike because a lot of the officers just keep getting killed in the field.
It's just not worth it.
It's just getting bad, and yeah, to actually present a future where the cops actually go on strike, and they actually even have a bit later where they're interviewing civilians, and then, you know, they say they're civil servants, they don't strike, and then even the captain says, you know, you are police officers, you're not plumbers, we don't strike, all this type of stuff. So yeah, that's just it
is a kind of interesting argument actually from a police officer, because I think he's acknowledging the difficulties that all the officers are facing, but at the same time he's saying we are like the first line of defense for normal civilian people.
And even later towards the end when there's those cops arguing with the captain. Well, no, he's not a captain. Sorry, he's a sergeant. They're arguing with the sergeant, and the sergeant says that this is a major metropolitan police precinct. If this shuts down, the city will go under from crime and everything like that. So,
exactly.
Yeah. Then obviously we get our main character, Alex J. Murphy, who's obviously a
That is his first name.
Yeah, it's Alex.
I forgot his first name because they just refer to him as Murphy.
Yeah, it's Alex. It's Alex Murphy. He's obviously he's a family man, has a wife and a son, and he gets transferred to this precinct because obviously we find out a little bit earlier in the film. There's that boardroom meeting where we have Dick Jones, who's like sort of like the number. There's the old man who's obviously the CEO. Dick Jones is obviously number 2. He's like the vice president or whatever. And then we have our other executive, Bob Morton, who really wants to do his Robocop program, where like he takes a police officer, turns him into a cyborg, because Dick Jones has this plan for this like really big, like, you know, automated robot called Ed 209.
Sorry.
For urban pacification, to sort of deal with the thing, because Omnicorp. They're busy creating. They want to rebuild the city into this like Delta City, which is kind of like this new refurbished, just sort of, because there's old Detroit and now there's Delta City. Delta City is this new city that they're trying to build.
Like a new division or area.
Yeah, a new area basically. So they want to get rid of the crime, so they do urban pacification with Ed 209. Ed 209, they have that demonstration which goes, you know,
horribly wrong.
Very, very, very well.
Yeah, that machine was wonky. That Ed 209. Sorry.
Well, that was kind of the point. They're supposed to kind of be like, you see this big robot, you go, oh yeah, they could easily take out crime with it, but then the problem is it's got all these stupid glitches.
It's wonky as hell. Because that's the thing. I didn't expect that at all. I'd expect them to shut it down. Instead, the Ed 209 mowed that poor guy down.
Yeah, I mowed that guy down.
And then I thought that would be the end of the program. You would never see that thing again. It would be in the garage for storage or something. But then you see it later on.
The part of it is we're in a because the thing about Robocop, the thing I love about Robocop is that it builds this world where compassion has sort of been gone, and people have sort of lost their humanity because people are all obsessed with it's basically full capitalism where people are just obsessed with products, obsessed with making money, and people have kind of lost their humanity and their compassion. And then even when the one executive gets mowed down, and then the CEO says to Dick, Dick, I'm very disappointed, and he's just like it's just a glitch.
Yeah, they completely undermine that guy's death and the seriousness of that situation.
Yeah, and then obviously we have our Bob Morton, who's sort of like the young executive who's trying to break in. So he obviously comes to the CEO with his Robocop program, saying that it's like a full body cyborg and everything like that. And yeah, then they basically just need a volunteer. Then we get to this, obviously Murphy, he's going around with his partner Lewis. I can't remember her first name, but yeah, it's Lewis. Lewis.
You see, they refer to each other by surnames. So
mostly by surnames.
So you always forget the first name.
Yeah, But yeah, so the two of them go around. They basically like are solving crime and everything, and then they run into our main bad guy. What's this? A Clav Bodica. Yeah, Clav Bodica. Yeah.
You wanted to say Barker because of Candyman.
No, I was just trying to remember what the name is. Sorry.
No, dude, it's no problem. I can't remember names. I'm awful with names when I'm looking at everything else.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, Clive Barker, he's with his gang. They're busy driving around in their armored truck. They recently just robbed like a bank or a bank or something, and they blew up a vault to get the money. And then Clive opens up the case, and obviously the money's all been burnt from the explosion. And he like cucks out his one henchman, saying like, you blew up the money and everything.
How can we spend it with ash?
Yeah, and then obviously Murphy and his partner come up in their cop car. We get a pretty cool car
Cop chase
shootout type sequence. I quite like that sequence. I also quite like the sequence where the thing is they've all got their shotguns and then they knock open the van door and they start firing, but then the car's not there and the car's on the side.
They moved off
and then they start
like,
firing.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We also get the one iconic line from Bodica where he's like, can you fly, Bubby? when he throws his henchman.
Throws him onto the hood.
Onto the hood of the car.
He was dead, right? Like after they get him off the hood and they leave, he was dead, right?
I'm assuming he was dead.
Because he was not moving.
Because later, okay, we're jumping ahead a bit, but later when Robocop obviously goes to that gas station, there's that one one of the henchmen, again can't remember the name, but the one henchman, he's trying to like get free petrol and he's like harassing the
clerk there.
The clerk there. And then Robocop he shoots his bike, and the guy like crashes and like falls and everything. Mm-hmm. And when he picks him up and says like, who are you? And then he gets knocked out. I actually assumed that he was dead. I thought like, oh okay, he's dead. Like, we're not going to see that guy again. But we see him again later, so he clearly just got knocked out or whatever.
Clearly. Okay.
And then I'm assuming Robocop just went and threw him in jail.
Probably because he's all about.
Arrest mode.
Doing it the right way. Mode.
Except he doesn't arrest a lot of people, he just punches people.
That's true, he didn't get his new Android update yet.
Yeah,
too many glitches.
Yeah, too many glitches, but yeah. So yeah, and then Alex Murphy gets cornered in the steel mill. Obviously he gets shot up to smithereens, gets shot like 1,000 times.
By all the thugs.
Yeah.
I think there's 4 of them. And then the main guy.
I think there's like about 5 of them. Because remember, there's the.
That's what I'm saying. There's 4 and the main guy.
There's the guy with the laugh. There's the main guy. There's obviously his one henchman dude. There's the other guy. I think there's like 5 of them basically. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they shoot up Murphy. Murphy gets taken to the operation room and gets declared dead.
Dead.
And then we pretty much skip straight to the scene where he just starts getting built. And interesting how they do that scene because they don't actually show. They show it from a first person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up later.
From Murphy's visor. They show the whole thing from his perspective. They don't show it from
a third person, him being assembled.
Type of thing. Because I think in the reboot, I think in the Robocop remake, I think they did that. They did it more from a third person perspective.
There's a remake.
Yeah, there was a remake in 2014. We'll splash the post on the YouTube video, but yeah. My dad apparently really enjoyed. He went to watch it and he really enjoyed it. But my uncle, I was talking to my uncle the other day. My uncle's like, "No man, that movie's cock."
Did he sneak into the cinema that time?
Well, no, obviously because he's an adult now. He can watch it.
I'm just checking.
And now the movie wasn't. And also the movie wasn't rated R. It was PG.
Oh. Okay. Well, PG doesn't necessarily mean bad, but I hope it wasn't like, PG-10, and then Robocop goes and bullies high school bullies.
Remember toys, man. Toys.
Uh-huh.
That's all toys.
Which is interesting because all the toy shops are actually closing, like worldwide. So what toys? Oh,
well, this is back in 2014. This is back when toy stores were still kind of around.
True.
Yeah. So then pretty much a play-by-play. Then once he gets built and everything, it's actually also interesting bit where they save his arm. But then Bob obviously comes in and says, no, I want full body cyberization, and he signed the form so we can do whatever we want to him.
Exactly. So that was pretty harsh. That's these corporates for you.
Well, again, it's emphasized in the society where people are obsessed with making money, and and selling products, and nobody really cares about nobody's like has their humanity left.
That's true. That's pretty exaggerated.
But that's actually because I think that's actually one of the main themes of the movie is that Murphy, he's like a good family man cop, and even when he becomes almost a full robot, even as a robot, he has more humanity than pretty much everybody else.
That's what I was thinking
does.
when you were talking about your history with the film and how you learnt about it. I was just thinking that he is more humane than most of them.
Yeah.
Because I guess he has a more grounded family lifestyle compared to big city life where everything is about the rat race.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, basically.
That's quite interesting. I'm glad you actually caught on to the same concept I thought of.
Yeah, no.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's very much like that. So then, basically, then Robocop gets built, and then he starts going around and there's that montage of him going around stopping crimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
I'm surprised that they put him in that cell to sleep or whatever.
Because there's that station that he needs to recharge at.
Yeah.
Obviously, he runs on some type of power or whatever. So he's like robot body, whatever needs to be recharged or whatever.
Because that makes sense. Because he just ups and goes whenever he wants to. So
well, I mean, the thing is, he's supposed to be like a robot. Like obviously, they don't have to sit there and babysit him.
Yeah, they don't have to babysit him. I get you, but they have all these monitoring tools and technology to see what's up with him, and then whenever he feels like he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna go get a Coke from the vending machine.
Yeah,
he just leaves.
He just ups and leaves.
He just leaves, doesn't say anything. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we have to watch him and see what he's doing, and then he's like, yeah, whatever.
He's just like try and stop me.
Exactly. I wouldn't. I'd be like, cool, you go.
Like even later when he walks into the archive and then there's that one pencil pusher cop who basically says sorry sir, can I help you? He's like, no.
No. He just walks past.
And then he goes to the computer and then the guy says oh, hold on, you're a buster, and then he turns around he's like little his little blade thing,
his
that
USB thing, yeah.
So like a USB slash knife.
That thing.
Yeah. Basically, he stabs it and he goes into
it
the
must
computer.
have a more. It must have a more universal purpose, because that machine had a port for that specific thing. So it's obviously not unique to Robocop. If it is, it's a bit of a design error.
It's a bit interesting. I remember I used to watch. There were two Robocop cartoons. I think they were around during that time, and I think it was the second series that they did that I watched as a kid, and he pretty much uses that blade basically just for hacking into computers and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe it's like a 1980s aux port that he just plugs into, because otherwise, I don't know what that port would be for, because that thing is unique to him. You never see anything else similar anywhere else. So I was like, huh.
Maybe they pre-installed those computers beforehand because they kind of knew that they were going to do this Robocop program.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're probably because remember it's run by OCP. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's OmniCorp, but sorry, no, it's OCP. It's OCP. Sorry, I kept saying the corporation wrong, but yeah, OCP. They basically run the cops, so they probably would have pre-installed those computers beforehand.
It's entirely possible. No, I'm not gonna try to discredit it. Yeah. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Well, I don't know. Maybe 209 was gonna have some sort of port, but how would he even fit into the police station?
I'm not sure. Maybe you would have a. I'm trying to think of that Decepticon's name. I think his name is the satellite one. Whatever. He has all these cables that are really long and they go through windows and then he plugs in. Maybe that machine would have that long cable that would just quickly go inside and plug in.
Oh, what? So there'd be a drive-through for him?
Yeah, exactly.
A drive-through and then he'd just points.
He just sends his USB around the corner.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's just something I thought that was weird. So I wanted your opinion.
Maybe that'd be interesting. Well, I don't know, because remember, this was back in the day when they still thought that the future was going to be analog. They didn't predict the digital age yet. It's sort of similar to Alien, where everything's where the technology's all analog. It's analog technology and everything like that.
Yeah, largely retro-futuristic. Today it's retro-futuristic, but for them it's just the future.
Yeah, that's what they thought the future was going to be. But yeah, no, so yeah, pretty much. And then where were we?
We were talking about how he drives around with his partner. Oh, he started driving around
Starts
by
driving-
himself
yeah, he
after
start-
he's a robot.
Starts driving around, starts stopping crimes. There's that guy at the gas station who's trying to hold up and get into the safe. And then Robocop shows up, the guy shoots at him. It's completely ineffective.
To no avail.
With his World War II machine gun. Like,
Yeah, I was
no,
thinking
because the
about
thing is,
that
instead of the
gun.
round being like, loaded
Yeah,
in like this,
it's
it's
a
like
side
it's
clip.
on the side, so it's like a World War II machine gun.
I know that weapon. I'm trying to think of the name.
Maybe
But
it had
it's,
like
it's
a-
a very old weapon.
Maybe it's like an antique machine gun or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe they were like gun running old guns because the new stuff was too hot to move. I don't know. But it's still weird to have such an old weapon.
I guess also because those older guns were kind of you could kind of sort of hide them under a coat. Whereas with the new, guns now these days are so big you can't exactly hide it under a coat. But that's why, like for example, the Mafia, they used to use the Tommy gun back in the day because they could actually hide it under their coat because of how compact it was.
Yeah, it is a very small weapon compared to others. But hey, you get those guys, especially for some reason when they have to kill someone in a hospital, they always have a long shotgun that they just in some trench coat.
Yeah.
It's always a stereotype for me. I always say.
Stereotype. But Robocop basically grabs the guy's barrel, like squeezes it, like punches him, and then we get the one of his iconic lines is like, thank you for your cooperation. Good night.
Yeah, Robocop is something. I like his voice. Like that actor, he did everything so
Peter
perfectly.
Weller. Peter Weller's the main
Is
actor.
that his name? Peter Weller.
Peter frickin' Weller is amazing in this movie. Like, this is an iconic role for him.
It is definitely largely.
Yeah.
His face looks familiar. I'm sure I've seen him somewhere else, probably.
No, he's a lot older now, but
Yeah, a lot older. But I mean, in older movies, I've seen him around. I imagine. I think I have. He looks familiar to me.
I don't know, it's a bit of a thing. Interesting trivia that I read the other day. Apparently, originally they wanted Arnold to be Robocop.
Well, yeah, that was right after Commando and Predator. So
And Terminator.
And Terminator. So he was pretty big in the industry.
Yeah, they actually wanted Arnold originally, but the thing is, he couldn't fit into the suit because the problem is he was too big
Yeah, he's a
with
big
his
guy.
with his muscles and everything, and they needed somebody who was like slim built to actually fit into the suit. So that's why they actually got Peter Weller to do it.
Well, he did it well.
Yeah,
he did it very well. His body language.
Yeah, his body is.
And his physical speech, his actual speech is also well done.
Yeah, because it's very thing. And the thing is, I actually wanted to so I'm not just talking all the time. I wanted to actually get your opinion on it. Did you notice that how he's like, in the beginning his voice sounds very robotic, but then as he starts to sort of remember who he is and everything, his voice starts to go back to normal.
Like a normal human, especially once towards the last third of the film where his helmet is off. His human speech is a lot more normal.
Yeah.
I did notice it because he starts off very janky, Android 1, and then he becomes Android 8 towards the end.
I also just love his body language. He got the body language like down.
That's what I was saying to you last night. I don't know if he watched Terminator and then got hyped, but that sort of robotic body language that's very like pause play, especially with the eyes as well. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's cool, and that actually takes a lot of practice more than people would think.
Yeah.
So that was a highlight for me. He obviously was in that role. He wasn't some fruitcake in a suit, and he was like, they paid me to be or whatever. And then he did his thing. He was invested.
Yeah, he was. He was invested in the role.
And it was great to see. I mean, as I said, RoboCop didn't blow me away, but I loved it. I still thought it was interesting cinema, and I am falling asleep. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but pretty cool. Then and then even sort of to add to that point, even later when he goes to go arrest the main bad guy Richard, and then he obviously has directive 4 because he has three main directives: serve the public trust, serve the public trust,
Protect the law, I think.
uphold the law.
Uphold the law, rather.
And then there's protect the innocent, serve the public trust, uphold the law. I think that second one I might be a bit iffy on, but yeah. And then we find out because originally Directive 4 is classified, so we don't know what Directive 4 is.
Obviously, it would come into play later on.
And then
we all knew that.
And then we found out that Directive 4 actually is that he can't arrest or harm
any of those executives
of OCP.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's not be able to. But anyway, in that scene when like Directive 4 starts to go into effect and he starts to shut down, like his body language is like, as he's shutting down, is like really, really good. Like
I thought so as
like
well.
His body's like moving like this, and like he sort of pulls out the gun, but then like he drops it.
People don't realize how long it takes to get something like that right, or at least convincing. It's a lot of choreography that goes and self-discipline, especially with eye movements, because you have to remember, like, I don't think Robocop, did he blink?
But he doesn't.
He doesn't blink. That takes self-discipline to not let your brain do it automatically. You have to concentrate. It's time consuming to get that right, and that's what I wanted to bring attention to, because even though we just say, okay, you know what, he's a robot, in real life he isn't. It's real practice to do that properly. So I wanted to highlight that.
Yeah, that's pretty
That
cool.
was a big part of the film was his own investment in that role.
Yeah, no, it was a big part of the movie. So yeah, then I didn't get it wrong earlier. It's Omni Consumer Products.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
OCP is obviously the acronym for it, but yeah. So sort of to backtrack a bit, how he remembers his memories, that he has a dream, obviously a nightmare of when he was shot up by Clive and his goons. And then Lewis, when he's walking down the hall, Lewis sort of corners him and says, like, you know, she like whispers to him like Murphy, because the thing is when he first shows up and they're at the shooting range and he's firing his gun, because the thing is there's a thing where like he sort of does like this flip this flip hand movement with his gun. He like sort of twirls it in his finger before holstering it, because his son Jimmy watches this like laser cop show or whatever, and then the whenever the main star takes down a bad guy, he does that twirl. So he sort of learned how to do that, obviously, for his son. And then when he's Robocop, that's actually the one thing that even when he's fully robot, when his memory's wiped, he still remembers doing that little twirl, and that's actually how she knows that that's actually Murphy.
Exactly, because she sees it and then she's like,
yeah.
She gets, which is obvious, because right when their first patrol started together, he was practicing that while she was getting coffee.
Yeah.
And then that's obviously how he drew attention to it, and she clicked, okay, you know, he does that twirly holster thing.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And there was that. So then and then obviously when he gets to the petrol station, stopped that one goon, and the guy said the guy sees Robocop. Well, he hears his voice and he recognizes him. And he's like, you know, we killed you. And then like he records it, and then like that's actually when he starts to realize. And then obviously we get the scene of him going into the archive to look up Clive Barker, and then obviously
Clive Barker. I told you.
Sorry, not Clive Barker. Clive Bootlicker.
Yeah, however you say that guy, Bootlicker, that bad guy.
Sorry guys, I'm running on fumes here, but
we're really tired. My goodness, it's been recording for days, but it's fine. It's worth it. We enjoy it. I wanted to say earlier, before we get too far, what I really liked, and I didn't expect it as well, was that Dick, the bad guy, Richard, when he kills that other young executive. I think his name is Bob.
Yeah, Bob Morton.
Yeah, when he kills him and he has Clive kill him with that grenade, he just casually places it and walks out.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite cool. When he first came on screen after Clive put that CD in, I didn't expect that at all, actually.
Yeah.
Like that he was actually a bad guy. I know they had like that disagreement in the bathroom, but I thought that would become a later thing.
Where he grabs his hair without even washing his hands.
Yeah.
Like no social distancing.
No face masks, no nothing.
Yeah.
And did you see when
hand sanitizing? Well, Bob, he sanitizes his hands, but Richard over here, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. My goodness, I'd hate to see his desk.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I genuinely thought that would become like a small subplot that would conclude later on, and instead, a couple of scenes later, Richard was like, oh hell no, and he just bombed his whole house.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't take any shite.
And those ladies that he had over, they weren't very very observant. Very sharp in that scene, because the thing is, like, he's like literally, Clark walks in with a gun, he's got him at gunpoint, and then the one lady's still like, well, you'll still call me later, right? It's like, lady, he's at gunpoint. I don't think he's gonna call you later.
Yeah, he's gonna end up in the ground. I'll give you that. She was a bit dense then, because it would have been obvious. I mean, maybe it's just like a bad time in life, like her husband left her for a younger woman. Now she has 200 cats, and so she's a bit desperate, and she was like, alright, maybe if he survives, he'll call me. So she had to quickly get it out. She was like, you'll call me!
Yeah, you just created a whole backstory for that one character.
She'll get a spin-off series now, watch. Amazon is going to make a spin-off series for Coke Lady.
Actually, funny enough, Robocop was made by MGM, which recently just got bought by
Amazon.
Oof. So I'm really hoping that Amazon does something with the Robocop license. Well, I mean, they are sort of doing it, because now we obviously got the announcement of Robocop Rogue City, the new video game that's coming out in 2023, so still a while away, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're excited for it. I can imagine that, but I'm concerned now because Amazon's also doing a Lord of the Rings series. Like,
oh yeah, that SJW
like that doesn't, like, Lord of the Rings is fine as is. Same with Harry Potter. It also doesn't need a reboot. Come on, people.
Yeah, but apparently that show is going through so much development hell right now that it's like not even
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings. The thing is, we haven't seen a trailer. We haven't seen screenshots. We haven't seen anything. But apparently it's going through a lot of development turmoil, and they're going completely against the law, and they're just ignoring everything, and yeah, it's not going very well. But the problem is they're trying to make it like Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings are two different things, really. I mean, they're both fantasy series, but they both have completely different tones.
Of course. And I think now, along with Grand Tour, Invincible, and The Boys, that money is going into Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, oh my goodness, now their ego's inflated.
Yeah.
And I'm just worried they're gonna butcher Lord of the Rings.
No, they're gonna butcher it.
Anyway, back to Robocop.
Yeah, back to Robocop.
Sorry, I had to get that in. I was curious on your opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get past that, and then obviously he starts to remember. Then one of my favorite scenes in the movie is actually the scene where he goes back to his old house. Mm-hmm. And then, like, he sort of like walks around and he gets those flashbacks, like he walks to the TV, sees his son there.
Watching that show.
And even though that, Peter Weller's, half his face is covered by the visor, you could just see by, like, his facial expressions how
he's really going through something.
He's going through emotional, like, the acting is just, the acting prowess is just really on display in the scene.
It's on point, it is.
And then obviously he walks around, he sort of starts to see a lot of flashbacks of his wife and his son and everything. And then when he comes back around, like, because the thing is, I also like to mention that house was so dirty. Those real estate agents did nothing to make that house look appealing.
You know what? They had Lurch from Adam's Family come in. So he checked the dust and then he blew dust everywhere. He was like, it's too clean.
Because, like, the flowers are like in disarray. There's that coffee mug, World's Best Dad, that's like smashed.
I saw it as well, and I was like,
what happened here?
I thought it was a flashback of like a struggle. And then everything is hunky-dory, and they're like, yeah, whatever.
And then there's obviously that guy on the monitor saying, would you like to buy this house?
Yeah, and then Rob was like, oh, hell no.
And then Robocop just punches the thing, because he's like so angry and everything.
He's so sick of, he's obviously salty, but he doesn't need that idiot burbling in his ear.
Yeah. But no, that was pretty cool.
I actually like that scene.
Actually, funny enough, okay, Robocop 3 is a terrible movie, but there's actually one cool scene I really like at the beginning where the police are being like surrounded by these criminals, and the criminals are they need backup, and then Robocop's obviously riding, and then the sergeant comes on the radio and says, Murphy, I need you to stand down or whatever, and then there's a bit where Robocop actually punches the computer and he pulls it out. Because he punches the radio basically, he pulls it out because he's like, no, I'm going.
I've had enough of you.
Yeah, I'm going. That's pretty cool. But
I'll have to watch the sequels, eh?
I don't know, I haven't.
Would you recommend them?
I haven't seen Robocop 2 yet. I still need to watch that one. Robocop 3, I don't know. I haven't seen it since I was like fucking
5,
like 9 years old or something. So I don't know, but I don't know. I keep hearing that it's bad, so I'm kind of too scared to watch it.
I get you, mate. That makes sense. Sure. I did have a point as well. Now, I was trying to think of something. Oh, I wanted to actually highlight. I was blown away by stop motion for that.
Yeah. Yeah, because back
What
then...
do they call it? 209? Ed 209.
Ed 209,
Yeah, that thing was it was incredible to see stop motion again after so long, because stop motion isn't utilized much.
Because
anymore.
obviously this is late 80s, this is before they had CGI, they couldn't use CGI, so they had to use stop motion, but yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
It was great to see it.
And even when we get the fight between Robocop and Ed 209, that was also pretty cool.
I actually saw a documentary that touches on stop motion. It's called the Frankenstein Complex, and it's about all the guys that make those monster costumes and like robots and things from the 80s.
Yeah.
You should watch it.
Yeah, it was actually a bit of the stop motion actually started to hurt the series towards the end, because the thing is, when Robocop 2 came out, the main bad guys had this big robot called Kane, called Robo Kane, and him and Robocop have this really big fight. It's when you watch it still looks, because I've seen like the clip of it on YouTube, it still looks very impressive today. But the problem is, at the time it was started to get sort of outdated, because the problem is the year after Robocop 2 came out, where they obviously used stop motion, Terminator 2 came out, and Terminator 2 obviously with James Cameron, that was the first time when they really used CGI with the T-1000s. So it was, but by then it was just like, oh, what are you guys doing? This is dated.
It is. I suppose that negatively affected the film.
But yeah, no, and then I quite like that fight. And then obviously we find Robocop when he tries to go arrest Richard, and Director 4 kicks in, and then he fires that fight at the E209. E209 like beats him around a bit, but he actually does hold his own a bit, because like there's at one point where like he grabs his one like machine gun hand or whatever, and then like he sort of pushes it towards it, so he blows off his other arm and everything, and he sort of runs. Quite good.
It was a cool fight.
And then we find that E209 can't go downstairs.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I thought because they place so much emphasis on the fact that that thing couldn't handle the steps, I thought they would maybe, that would be the end of it, and then they would have like an upgraded version for a final fight that could take the stairs somehow. Because they really, they lingered on that so long.
Yeah, the thing is that it sucks. Robocop and E209 never had a rematch in the future films. I'm just kind of like, that was like a missed opportunity. They should have had like an upgraded E209.
Yeah, maybe like a 210.
They could have taken down, they could have fought Robocop and like, yeah. But yeah, no, it was a pretty good fight overall. And then, yeah, pretty much like, where do we go? What do we mention next? Oh yeah, I guess we also, aside from Peter Weller being amazing, the actor who plays Clive is like so good in this movie. He's a really good bad guy.
He is. I liked him. He was definitely a convincing villain.
He's a villain, but he's also quite funny.
Yeah,
he has some funny quotes.
He's one of those charismatic Far Cry villains.
Like, remember the part where like he's doing that drug deal with the other gang leader or whatever, and then like they're busy arguing with each other, then they start pointing guns at each other, and he's just like guns.
Yeah, he gets so excited because he knows he's in charge.
And then
that's the scene where Robocop doesn't like windows.
Yeah, and then later when towards the end of the thing, where obviously they're in that like pool, that like river area, that like shallow like water
the
area,
the
construction site area, and then like he's like okay, I give up, and then Robocop's just like, I'm not going to arrest you anymore, and he's just like, hey, you're taking this kind of personal, aren't you? He's like, no, well yeah, you kind of killed him, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course he's taking this personal.
Extra personal, and I like those henchmen. They got wiped out very quickly. But they all had so much fun there, apparently. Like that character with that epic laugh.
Oh yeah, the epic laugh.
And then the other character that operated the crane before he blew up. He's like, I did it, boss! Woo! They were all having so much fun. The only guy that really suffered was that guy in that toxic waste from
the toxic waste. But yeah, that was gruesome.
Wasn't he the same character from the fuel station?
The petrol station.
It makes sense why he was worse off then, because he was just he had the most scenes that really got under Robocop's skin.
Yeah.
Back when he was just a normal dude, and then after he became Robocop as well, he was still, toying and irritating him. So I guess it was well deserved. But man, as he got further from that tank, he just looked worse.
Yeah,
and
Robocop
worse.
just completely ambushed these dudes. These dudes were not prepared at all.
They really weren't.
Like he throws the glass to like sort of distract them, and then like he just starts firing, and then they start shooting him with these explosives. Like explosive 50 caliber, the Cobra assault cannons, and they start firing, and he's like just doing a casual, these casual Robocop walk, and they're just like missing him completely.
Yeah, he had the most chilled walk ever. He's like, whatever.
Whatever.
Maybe he somehow calculated they had like like the VAT system.
Yeah.
From Fallout, they just predicted that they weren't gonna hit him. So he's like, whatever. Sunday stroll.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I had another thing I wanted to say. What about those weapons? Those
Assault,
rifles.
the Cobra assault cannon.
Yeah, those are OP. Those guys, they had absolutely no recoil from that gun. It stayed straight. I was like, that's bull.
Yeah, because when I first watched this movie and he got these assault rifles, I was like, oh damn, Robocop. I don't know how Robocop's gonna get out of this situation, but they just.
Oh no, he did his happy walk.
He did his happy walk. His happy walk that basically averts all bullets.
Yeah, because those things were OP, but they had absolutely no recoil. And then,
I don't think Robocop could have survived a direct. He maybe could have survived one shot, but like 2 shots, I think he would have been destroyed.
Yeah, maybe he would take like 1, and then the second one that would be it. But he was happy-go-lucky throughout that whole site. Like, it was payday for him. He was chilled.
Yeah, it was very cool. And then I remember the. I remember towards the end, right at the end, obviously when he drives up to the OCP building, because obviously he's taking care of Clive, now he's got to go take care of Richard, and he drives up to the thing, and then there's the Ed 209 guarding the door, and then he comes out with the with the Cobra assault cannon, and he just blows the hell out of this thing.
He does.
I remember I went to watch that clip on YouTube, and I scrolled down the comments, and this one guy commented and said, when you this is the part in the video game where you do all the side quests before taking on the final boss. Because you do all the side quests, you get geared out, you have all the best weapons, and then when you fight the final boss, it's like over in 5 minutes.
It's too easy.
It's over in 5 minutes.
It is, yeah. I get you. That's a very relatable meme, actually.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
Actually, sorry, I had another thing I wanted to say. What was the point of emphasizing that car?
What car?
There was that vehicle that had adverts everywhere, that something 6000.
Oh, the 6000 SUX.
Yes, SUX, yeah.
It's supposed to be about the whole,
Is that playing into the capitalism?
The
mindset?
Capitalism, the fact that commercials, the obsession with products and everything.
That makes sense.
And the fact that the car gets shitty gas mileage and everything.
Oh yeah, I read it. 8.2 mpg, and I was like, yo.
8 miles per gallon.
Yeah, that isn't the best.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I like, is the one graphic novel, the Batman graphic novel, The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman comes back after being retired and everything. It's written by Frank Miller, and Frank Miller, a lot of his books have, his Dark Knight books often have those ad breaks, or those news footage where in between major events, they'll cut to footage of anchors talking about it and discussing what happened, and it's sort of supposed to be a play on our over obsession with television and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I kind of do. I really like the ad breaks in between certain moments of this film. It's a really nice touch.
They do break it up quite nicely, and that's why I brought it up, because I was like, wait, what is the point? But then I only realized now, because you mentioned it when we started, about the capitalistic mindset.
Yeah.
And
the obsession with consumerism.
Consumerism and materialism and stuff like that, and everything makes a lot more sense now, because they really emphasized that car. I mean, they had an advert exclusively for it, and then they also had.
And even the mayor in that one scene, once then Robocop just pulls him through the thing and punches him.
Yep.
And that mayor that holds up. He's the mayor
team.
He's the mayor that just got ousted. He lost the election, and then he holds up the new mayor, and he was like, I want my old job back, and even if I want to recount, and even if the election, even if I lose, I still want my job back.
Yep. And also the bad guy, the goon with that laugh.
Yeah.
He also he emphasizes, he's like, check what I just found, brand new 6000 SUX, still with the factory stickers on it. I was like, okay, wow. I thought that car would be used in the final fight in some way. No, and then it just gets bombed right there.
No, I think the reason why is because the thing is he's bragging about it, and he says it's even better than your car, Clive, and Clive's just like, oh hell no, it's Cobra blows the guy's car.
Yeah, where were the cops in that?
Because remember at that point the police officers all went on strike.
Oh yeah, they're on strike. You're right.
They're on
Because
strike.
I was thinking these guys are having
a
a fun time with these rifles.
Yeah, because remember the guy he got out of jail free because basically there's no cops there to stop him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because half of them were working and then they would be off, and the other half was on strike, so there was no one on duty.
Yeah, they went on strike.
That makes sense. Sure.
But yeah, no, so yeah, basically the consumerism obsession and everything. And then another point I want to get your opinion on is that there's a lot of religious imagery in this. Religious imagery in this movie. And apparently, like Robocop, being destroyed, Murphy dying and then being rebirthed and everything, and then him being turned on by the police and everything. It's actually supposed to be like a
Renaissance.
It's supposed to be a reference to Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ was betrayed by Judas and everything like that.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is. And then also when that scene we talked about earlier, when at the construction site, when he has a final face down with Clive and he's walking on the water, that's actually supposed to be obviously the water's shallow, so obviously he can.
Yeah, he's just walking through it.
Yeah, but that's actually supposed to be image references to Jesus walking on the water and that type of thing.
Yeah,
so I wanted to get your actual opinion on that.
Chuck Norris can swim through land, so checkmate.
Checkmate.
Let's see. I didn't actually click on that, but your argument or thesis is, I can definitely see it has momentum. It seems quite true. I never thought about it.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I didn't come to that conclusion on my own. I've watched a lot of reviews for this movie and other podcasts who obviously talked about it. And then when I watched it for myself, I was like, oh yeah, I can see it.
You can make that connection.
Yeah, people more qualified than me made those assumptions.
Okay, no, that's fine. But I didn't click on it at all. Even though I think you and them are all correct. It does have momentum to it because. I am not religious at all, so I didn't make that connection.
Yeah, apparently Paul Verhoeven's been wanting to make a movie about Jesus Christ, about the crucifixion and everything for decades, and Hollywood just won't let him do it because they just said that no, it's gonna be way too violent and way too controversial.
Yeah.
No studio will touch it. They're like, nope, we are not touching this.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually kind of creepy.
So when he did Robocop, it was sort of him kind of like, okay, fine, if you're not gonna let me make it, then I'll do the sci-fi movie and put my imagery in there.
So this is the Bible after an Android update. That's what Robocop is. That's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of imagery but overall just really great.
Can I ask? In the final fight with Clive, when he uses that sort of steel thing. I'm trying to think of the name of that thing, but I can't now. And he stabs Robocop after he's pinned down by all that crap.
Yeah.
Why? I thought that would be like a fatal blow for Robocop, because that was right in where his heart would be, and even blood came out and a lot of it, not just like a pinprick.
Well, I think most of the blood was Clive. I think that was Clive's blood. That wasn't Robocop's blood.
I think so.
Yeah, because remember then he takes his spike thing and he stabs.
Yeah.
He stabs Clive in the neck and then
he sprays. Yeah.
Yeah, the sprays of blood. So that's the blood that's on him. That's Clive's blood. That's not his blood.
Okay, fair enough. It's true probably. But then why does Robocop scream like a little girl if there's nothing?
Scream like a little girl.
If there's nothing there, if it's just machine.
I don't know. There's a I don't know. It depends on the version. Because some people say that, because in some books or movies or whatever, he actually does have a heart underneath all the steel, and he has a spine, or he has a
column,
a rib cage or something like that. Other people say no, it's just a brain, that's in his head, that's basically all that's left. But I don't know. I'm assuming it was painful, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if he has anything down there. Because you're right, that would have just been a fatal blow. He would have been dead by that point.
Exactly. If he had something there, like something human there. And the fact that he screams about it. Yeah,
because I was actually watching a theory. I was reading the comment section once, and there was this theory about why don't they just shoot him in the face? Because the face obviously
that's what I thought about.
Is his one weak point, but apparently that's just a layer of it. His face is basically that's just a layer of skin basically, and his eyeballs and everything. That's just a layer of his face. Behind that's actually just like a Terminator metal skeleton thing. Okay. So if you shot him in the face or whatever and blew up his face or whatever, all you would do is just piss him off.
Exactly. No, I wondered that as well last night, because that's the obvious weak point, is this sort of jaw piece that's still there. because I was like, huh, I mean, there's like 20 guys blasting, you know, for a long time. You're telling me, no, not one of you can hit that point?
Yeah.
It was really weird. I'm glad that Lewis, you said his partner was, that's his partner. I'm glad she had the brains to help him out and rescue him from that firefight. I know she gets like seen by the other SWAT teams and sort of they're aware that she's aiding him, but I'm glad she still got him out and was able to...
Well, because they're partners.
Exactly, but she saw through the robot and what all the rumors they spread about him, like he's, you know, he has to be terminated and all that. They're just like, nah, he's still a dude, he's on my team.
But even some of the cops refused to do it, because remember when they when they first pull up on him, some of the cops actually even say that's a police that's a cop. We don't shoot other cops.
You're right. They do bring it out, but they certainly don't bother trying to stop the others or help him.
Well, they can't really stop the others. That's the thing.
I would try.
It's in I don't know. It's in a situation where they couldn't really do anything.
Okay, whatever. I feel like they should have done something. But
I mean, yeah, you would have done something, but then they would have themselves probably would have been arrested. Because obviously the majority of those cops are like, yeah, whatever, just kill them, we don't care.
Of course, I get you. And another thing I wanted to say, which really upset me yesterday watching that, was when Robocop has his dream and it sort of comes through onto those little TV sets. That dream sequence, as well as him moving around in that Magic Mike chair of his, makes a lot of noise. You're telling me those two idiots sitting this distance apart didn't notice that TV going off? Yeah, right. That really got to me last night, because I imagine the first few times it sort of glitches out, there's no image, but then that image delays and there's noise and Robocop is freaking out and they're just like, oh yeah, my crossword puzzle. It really got to me. It really got to me.
Yeah, they're just like like this. All the stuff is happening behind them. It's just like, so what are you doing Friday night?
Yeah, exactly. And they was like, 3 across, 8 letters. Like bullshit. That TV is right there in front of you, sort of peripheral vision. It's going off.
Yeah, they would have noticed. And obviously by the time they notice, he's already gone.
He's already gone, and I'm just like, you people really suck at your job.
Yeah, you people are idiots.
You're really stupid.
Are you guys getting paid by the hour?
I don't think they're getting paid at all, mate.
Don't you have a job to do?
It really, that really got to me.
Like, you guys had one job.
Literally one job. They were on the night shift.
They didn't have a scene like that, but it would have been very funny if Bob was like, it came to them, because Bob comes afterwards and he cucks out the sergeant, but it would have been funny if he said to them like, you guys had one job.
One job. And before it was a meme. I think that to me really got me going last night. I was like, just notice this television and how poor Robocop.
Yeah.
Also, why did they feed him baby food? I know they said it was something that works with his organs or whatever, but like, really, you couldn't just get him like a hot dog or something.
You can't eat a hot dog. He doesn't have a digestive system.
Oh yeah, that's true. He needed that baby food. Ugh. I hope it tasted nice at least, because that machine of his.
Well, that one executive, he seemed to like it.
Yeah, he just took a whole cup. He was like, whatever.
He took a cup and he probably walked away with that cup. He's like, yeah, this is mine.
He probably came back for the machine as well, because Robocop never got to use it.
Yeah. Well, even at one point when Lewis brings him food, he's like, I'm not hungry.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't think that he actually had to charge.
Well, I guess also they were kind of like, they were kind of like, look, a scene of a robot eating baby food. I mean, yeah, obviously we can have it there for world building and sort of to explain the lore, but we're not going to actually have a scene of him eating baby food. That would have just been stupid.
Yeah, would have been a bit out of place, I grant you. It would have been very unusual. Especially if he had, instead of, he broke his robot persona and he enjoyed it. He was like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Then it would have been really, really weird. Never mind. I retract my statement.
But yeah, no, everything pretty good otherwise, and then there's I also just love a lot of his one-liners, like a loaded line, like your move, creep, like the part where those two guys are harassing that woman, and then he obviously he fires and shoots the guy down there. Mm-hmm. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They actually made it in the 80s. They actually made an action figure of that guy. They made an action figure of that guy, and it was actually called the guy that Robocop shot in the,
in the hand cannon.
Yeah, in the hand cannon.
Oh my.
They actually made a toy of it, and there was a little red blood splat over down there as well, on the toy and everything.
Did you buy one?
No, this is obviously in the 80s. This is before I was even born.
I'm sure you eBayed it. Don't deny it.
Yeah, eBay it. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Wow. That's when they were like, okay, guys, we need to make these movies kid friendly now.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, then pretty much. I think we can basically like just skip ahead straight to the end scene where obviously also the thing is I think I like to bring up the fact that Louise does survive that thing, but like geez, I'm like, what's like a woman? How did you survive that?
What happened to her?
Remember when they're fighting Clive and everything, and Clive like just blows the shit out of her, like shoots her like 8 times or something.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously she like cornered on the floor and she uses the Cobra assault rifle.
Yeah, I do.
Apparently they toyed with the idea of her becoming a
honey cop, yeah.
Yeah, a robot, but she said no. Well, apparently they wanted to do that in Robocop 3 because she dies in Robocop 3. They wanted to turn into a robot. She was like no, and I was like, the thing is, when you should have done that was in Robocop 2 after the first one.
Exactly, it would have made a logical next step.
But yeah. So Murphy goes to the OCP building, and he obviously he did all the side quests, so he blows up E209 no problem, and then
yeah, shame. I thought that guy would give a real fight. Eh? He was like, yeah, no, I got this. You have 20 seconds to.
20 seconds to comply.
Yeah, that was it. He was in the ground. Poor guy.
Yeah. Then he comes. He interrupts the board meeting, and then. He presents the evidence that Dick Jones or Richard, because the thing is when the scene where the Directive 4 kicked in and then he was fighting Ed 209 just before Dick Jones obviously when Richard obviously said that sorry I keep saying
that's his name but it's funny.
Yeah, Richard he went on about how I had to kill Bob Morton and I'm gonna erase this mistake and everything.
Oh yes. When he's in that boardroom and he's being snitched on by himself.
Yeah, and I like the bit where
why did he record that?
Well, because the thing is, you need evidence. Because remember, he records it for evidence.
Yeah, I know. Oh, was it Robocop's recording?
Yeah, it was Robocop.
Okay.
Robocop was the one
when he met him in the office, and then we found out what's his rule number 4.
Directive 4. He's not allowed to harm
I know what it is. I just wanted the word.
Directive 4.
He recorded it then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say.
Obviously, when he's interrogating Clive, and he's like throwing him through all those windows, he also recorded it. He says like, I work for Dick Jones.
Yeah, he snitched so hard. Okay, that makes sense because I was thinking that replay that Robocop presents to the team. I thought that was like Dick's own recording, like to himself, and I was like,
no.
Why the hell did you record this?
The actual recording that he made was the one with the message that he sent to Bob before Bob died. But obviously the one that Robocop presented, that's the one that Robocop actually recorded with by himself. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't think of that feature. Like, he can record, right?
Yeah.
Oh well, they set themselves up there.
Yeah.
They thought they were clever with Directive 4, but clearly not that clever. You know why? You know who built Robocop's UI? It was those 2 idiots that were meant to watch him.
Yeah.
They built his whole system and they butchered it.
Yeah, they butchered it. It's like, you should have a record feature,
Exactly.
That's not going to come back and bite us in the keister.
Never. Especially with corporate espionage.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
but
my.
yeah, no. So yeah, it goes pretty cool, and yeah. Oh yeah, and then obviously he can't like actually arrest Richard because of Directive 4. But then the old man is like, Dick, you're fired. And he's like, and then Robert goes like, thank you. And then just blows.
Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah.
It just blows
out the window with his meme spaghetti arms.
Yeah, there's obviously been people have been complaining about that for years about his like slender arms.
His slender dude, I was in shock last night. I was like, what is that? Dude, it feels like he could have grabbed on and he was still 3 stories down. He could have easily saved himself.
Yeah.
Those arms were horrible. I know limited tech for the time, but just who looked at that and honestly thought like, yeah, that's okay, that's a good job. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, like why don't you just shorten them a bit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my.
Yeah. I don't know if they did like CGI or was like
I'm not sure.
a ragdoll that they threw up.
Ragdoll, a life-size model.
Yeah.
Maybe. Ugh. I'm sorry, that really took me out of it. That scene. I honestly didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Do you have I don't know if the camera got it. Do you have any favorite shots?
Oh yeah, the obviously the peripheral vision when he's all the first person peripheral vision modes, those are pretty cool.
Oh yes.
Also like the bit where the bit where he gets shot up by the SWAT team, and then the thing is, earlier when he's fighting ED-209 and then a bit of his visor breaks and you see his eye, you see like his eyeball through his visor. That was a pretty cool shot.
That confirmed he had eyes for me. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and then then the other favorite shot is when he arrests Clive and he throws into the desk. He's like, book him, and then he turns him down. That shot where he says on what charge, and then it's sort of like that shot that's looking up at Robocop as he turns and he goes, he's a cop killer.
Yeah.
That's
also a good shot.
That's a pretty epic shot.
Another shot I liked. Oh, sorry, are you finished?
So yeah, the one shot that I do like is a shot where he saves that woman from being assaulted, and she sort of hugs him, and then and there's that shot she's hugging him, and then you sort of see the Delta City billboard in the background. I really like that shot. That shot's set up very well.
It is. Okay, now you finished. Before I keep butting in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm finished.
Okay, another shot I want to add is when the goons are in that van and they kick the door open and they all blast, but he's not there. The car's already pulled off to the side.
Yeah.
That shot I really like. In that same scene as well is you see the van and then you see Lewis. Is she driving in that scene?
Yeah, she's driving.
She is driving, yeah. And you see Robocop then shooting out the window to the van. I like that shot. And then another shot I really liked was when Clive is talking to Robocop in that puddle at the end fight, and the guy in the crane is moving the grabber over. I forget what you call that thing now. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, the crane claw.
Yeah, he's basically moving the claw over. I like that shot. That was quite cool.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
I think there's a shot as well where Robocop she just saved him from being shot up by those SWAT teams, and he's busy chilling in that factory, she hasn't arrived yet. He's just by himself. That's a nice shot.
He's fixing himself.
Yeah, I think he was working on something on his leg.
Yeah, he's working on his leg.
I like that shot. That was really cool. Any other highlights for me? It would probably be when Bob gets bombed and he's reaching for that grenade.
Yeah, that was a cool shot.
Dude, if he just got off his ass, he would have been alright.
But he can't really get off his ass.
No, I know, but he could have crawled a bit faster. He had 15 seconds to just grab that.
Yeah, because that was a long fuse.
That was a long fuse, and I knew it would be long because of how slow Clive walked out. He was
he just walks out so casually.
He could have made himself a sandwich in that time.
Yeah.
And but nonetheless, when he tries and reaches for it, and you see the counter only has a few seconds left. That was a nice shot for me. I think those are my highlights.
And then what do you think of the action scenes in this movie? Pretty good, huh?
They are very good. I like how they're contained. They're very good in small environments. They're not over the top explosive tower combat. It's contained.
The biggest action sequence you get is the drug bust scene.
Yeah, that is the biggest. But again, that's using the small environment to the maximum.
Yeah, and he's just shooting up these guys completely. And I kind of like how he shoots them because he's sort of shooting them, and then that one part where he sort of goes like that and he shoots the guy, then he shoots the guy on the top. It's pretty cool.
It's awesome. That scene is well done. Actually,
yeah.
It was a lot more crowded.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
The way he says trouble irritates me.
Yeah.
Trouble. I don't know, that's just me, but I'm not going to deduct from that.
Or later bit where cool. He's at the school and they come interview and say, Robo, you have any words for the kids out there? Stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble. I like how during that scene when he's just walking around and then all the kids are following him and he turns around and they're like they're getting freaked out.
Yeah,
that was
pretty cool.
That was cool to add. I think that scene actually happened on TV before they cut to the real situation.
Well, it was newsreel footage.
It was
basically.
newsreel, yeah. But that's what I meant. Like, you see it on a TV before they cut to that actual moment in reality.
But yeah, no, pretty great movie, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So
I actually enjoyed it. I mean, as I said, it didn't blow me away, because I guess it was, looking back at it from things we have today, it was a little bit predictable. It was like a story of revenge in a way.
yeah,
but
I mean, it is a revenge tale, but I guess it's sort of like how we talked about with our Candyman episode, where you can take a simple story, but if you approach it in a unique way,
yeah, you can make it something special.
You can actually make it work.
Exactly. That's why I'm not gonna knock it for being a little bit predictable, because it was a simple premise and they executed it perfectly. So
Yeah.
it's still great. It won't be on my top 10 list of favorites ever for sure, but I hands down really love it. I don't have anything that I'm like, ugh, really, people like this? I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. So what would be your rating?
Oh. Young 7 or 8.
So like about okay, I'll go with an 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8. As I say, I gladly recommend it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, but it's just not a huge blockbuster for me.
It's not one of your favorites or anything.
No.
But you did enjoy it.
I really enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with a 9, but
A
yeah,
9.
no, I really
Okay,
enjoyed
what
it.
would you deduct for? If I can ask. Do you have, or do you just think 9
it's
is
just
more
that
suitable?
It's mainly just on enjoyment factor. It's mainly just
Okay.
like I said, sort of in the Candyman episode, that my rating is sort of it's not just based on pros versus cons. It's also based on like how much
Your overall
enjoyment did I have in it, and also like at the end of the day, I don't give 10s out unless a movie's like completely flawless, or we're just completely geeking out over it, like we did with District 9.
District 9. I'd like to say something. Oh, I appreciate the fact that they didn't make it drag out. They kept it. They kept the story beats.
Yeah, it's a pretty short movie. I think it's like an hour and 40 something minutes, or an hour hour 40, hour 50, like round about there. It's a pretty it's a pretty short and concise movie.
And to the point. It's nice. They did that well, because sometimes some movies drag.
Yeah.
I can't think of an example of a film that the whole movie drags on too long. I know I said Aliens, the ending, the last 20 minutes, they drag a bit, but I'm thinking of an example of the whole movie that drags too long. I can't think of one.
I think for me it would be Blade Runner 2049. I mean, I do love 2049. I do love it. It's a very good movie. I think it's a great sequel to the original Blade Runner. But for me, like I do rewatch that movie often. But whenever I rewatch it,
segments.
I can never watch the whole thing in one sitting. I always have to like do it in 2 sittings to be able to finish it.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. So
yeah, but I think it also depends on pacing. I think it depends on how they actually pace the movie, because the thing is, like, I can sit and watch, because I've watched it a few times now, but I can sit and watch Zack Snyder's Justice League the full 4 hours, no problem. Because the thing is, the movie goes. I know you haven't seen it fully yet, but the movie goes at such a quick and such a interesting pace, and the characters are so interesting that it doesn't feel like 4 hours. Well, obviously that's going to vary from people to people.
That's person.
I know some people. Didn't like the fact that it was 4 hours. Like, oh, why is this movie dragging on so long? But for me, like, I was able to watch it like no problem. And my girlfriend, when I watched it with her as well, she was also like perfectly fine with just watching it for 4 hours too. Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it's entirely person to person. If I think of a movie that drags too long in its entirety, for me, I'll just add a little speech line.
Yeah.
I know we went to ratings already. You gave it a 9. I gave it an 8, 7 or 8. I think I'll go with an 8 just so I don't hurt your feelings. And
I mean, you can give it a 7. It's fine.
I'll give it a 7. Hands down. Final verdict 7. Any takeaways? Anything specific from this film that you enjoyed and you would like to incorporate in your own works as a takeaway?
Can't really think of any takeaways really. I guess also just like get it's good to have a main actor that's committed to a role, especially when it's something like when you have to play a robot. Basically, get an actor that's like really committed.
Committed, yeah, because that's not easy.
Because we've dealt with actors in the past that are committed, and then we've dealt with actors that are just like, whatever. I'm gonna go to my trailer.
Yeah. Don't bring it up now. We're gonna have Vietnam flashbacks.
Vietnam flashbacks to some of the shoots we've done, but yeah, no. Get a really. If you're able to find an actor that's really committed to the source material, even if he's not maybe the best choice, if they're committed, then that really shows. And I think also just I don't know. I think it's sort of similar to our Candyman takeaway, where it's just like, you know, even if you have a simple story, if you approach it in the right way, you can actually make it something special.
Something special, of course. No, that's completely. I would agree. That would be a takeaway of mine as well. I think that takeaway will happen in a lot of older films for me, is if you have something simple and concise and you do it in a unique way, then don't be afraid to do it. Another takeaway, it's not really a takeaway, but something I do want to just draw attention to, and I wish there was more of these days, is the stop motion.
Yeah, stop motion.
That level of stop motion is so underutilized these days because everything is CGI now.
Yeah.
And the guys that work specifically in stop motion and creature design, like the costumes and those sort of things, animatronics, they say that their business is sort of dying, and it's a shame because it's not as impactful as seeing something come to life in real life compared to CGI.
Yeah,
I would agree. You should watch that documentary, the Frankenstein Complex. It's awesome.
I'll check it out. Yeah, it's always just that debate of like how much CGI and how much practical do you use. If you use a fair balance of it, so you
that's
can
a debate on its own.
Use it on but anyway, thanks very much for watching, guys. We really appreciate it. If you're one of our podcast, if you're a YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and then leave any comments or feedback. And then also, again, if you're listening on one of our podcast platforms, please do, like, you know, if you have any feedback, please do leave us a review. And we always are trying to improve the channel in every way that we can. And thanks, guys.